and welcome to the Heritage Village, Miamisburg, Ohio. Let's see what type of new stuff has happened inside today. The Heritage Village is open the first Sunday of each month from May through October, and also for special occasions you can contact them and they will open it for you. If you can see the little blue plaque, that is the level of the 1913 flood, of how high it got up in this area. Of course, the Great Miami River is right there over the embankment. The Heritage Village consists of the Daniel Gebhardt Tavern Museum, 1811, and this is the original spot for it. It was not moved. It's been here since that time. The smokehouse was brought from an area up in the Dayton Mall and brought down to the area. And the oldest is the Kircher Pioneer Home, circa 1809. It was moved from a couple blocks down by the river going the other way, or going that direction I'm pointing. So this consists of Heritage Village at the moment. So let's check out the smokehouse. Here we go as we're closer. Smokehouse from Harold R. Gebhardt Farm, given by the Hieronymus family, 1980. I know it was located up near the Dayton Mall before it was the Dayton Mall. And the other thing I know about here is that these bricks, the process was helped taught by the Miami Indians who were in the area. And someone has dug out some of the area there, the sand, and there, but I know it was disassembled and reassembled here. I'm just showing the idea of how it would be with the holes and how they would smoke their meats. Okay, now one of these two is a cistern, the other is a well. I can't remember which. That's all right. Let's see if we can peek down in there. Not sure how much you can see, but I know when they excavated these, they didn't really find anything of interest. So they never really threw too much stuff in there. And here in the front, we have the Gebhardt Tavern Museum time capsule. It was put here July 4th, 1983, to be open July 4th, 2033. That honestly ain't that far away now. Boy, time. We'll keep tick-tocking. So I'm interested in what's happening inside, especially with the loom and our guy Lee. We will go check that out momentarily. Oh, I wanted to point out they have a flag. Forgot how many stars they had on this one. Let's take a closer look at some of the different items in here.
weight negatives.
Oh, yes.
So for example, you would take this, and this would have two negatives in there, so you'd be able to take two pictures, and you'd put that in there and take a picture, and then you'd flip it over and take another picture. And these are additional slides or negatives that you
Didn't actually exist. I don't know if you
These are actually different size.
Chris's. Now I got Chris mad at me. Chris is the one
And
that
then
taught me to
this
come
part, you can open it and change the aperture
Oh, for real?
of the lens.
Did you know that?
Depending
Okay,
on
you got
the amount of light that you want.
Oh, yeah. It's excellent. Here is where we are from last month when we were here on the loom. He has did quite a bit of work. I know. So last time I was here, you were separating. This is Lee, by the way. He is the fellow loom, as y'all know. He was separating all the different strands out, which you had already did, and it looked like you loomed up quite a bit of it.
I've got a lot of it there, and now I'm winding it all back onto this shaft.
And what do you mean?
Well, so I've got all 20 yards started out there,
Okay.
and now I tied all of them onto a bar that's attached to the back roll here. And now I'm winding all 20 yards up onto this back roll.
Well, you mean you're going to undo your work you just did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's
all of that was so I could get it on here.
oh, I did not realize. I'm like, wait a minute. So you did it just to undo it for that, but it's so you could separate them, have them in the area you want, and then what? Do a more complicated pattern, or?
Well, so everything I've done so far was getting bundles of 20-yard strands in a non-tangled fashion.
Okay.
So I got all those, and so then we put them all along here, we run them through the heddles on these. Oh, hold on. Behind that. So I run them through all the heddles, the little pieces back here. So they come through the reed first, and then they go through the heddles, and then they come back and we tie them on the bar.
Okay. Well, it's
Once
like,
you've got that, you wind everything up on here, and then when you start weaving, you're over there, and you start weaving onto the front bar.
okay. So, well, basically, you was weaving to do that, wasn't you? Or no?
Nope, this is all Warping the Loom.
This is still Warping the Loom.
Still
That was the
Warping
title of the last one, by the way.
Yep.
So here, these are bundling up a little bit on you, like a couple strands, or
Yep.
is that just something that happens and you have to come
so
in
now
and?
I come and straighten all these out.
Oh, you make sure they're all perfectly good and there ain't no bundle before you start.
Well, so it actually pulls the reed this way because of all the little tangles.
Oh, okay.
So I undo all those little tangles.
Oh, okay.
All these little pieces that are bunched up.
Okay, that wasn't as bad as it looked, but it was a little. Okay.
The real trick is all of the rest of this is done in slip knots all the way to the end. So the worst tangle I can get is in this couple of feet, which you can't get a whole lot of tangle in there.
So you basically, it's a repeat process. Pull up some for a little bit,
Yeah.
like probably that much, and then you have to come and
Yep.
redo it
Now I
again.
Take this and pull it back, and I gotta undo it a little bit.
Okay. But you can stand on this side where you see if something's happening, and then,
Yep.
yeah, there's
A
it.
little more.
It is definitely a, okay.
And so now I can get a few more feet out here.
Oh, okay.
So they're slip knots. So
No, I
it's
see
easy to
that.
Give a tug and
That is super good. So once you get everything back on that side, what's the goal? After you're done warping the loom,
well,
you
once
just
it all
want to
gets
make
back
something?
there, then we tie all of these ends to the front,
Yeah.
and then by pressing down on the levers here, that will move one of the sheds up, and then this space between the two sets is where we weave back and forth.
Okay. So you plan on weaving something then afterwards?
Yeah.
Do you got a pattern already that you
Yep,
want?
so we're going to take this same pattern here and run it this way along it as well. And with 20 yards, we should be able to get 6 to 8 sort of smaller tablecloths or larger table runners.
Okay, there you go. So it's a goal, but boy, it's a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
And one of the goals is when we finish with that to take these several tablecloths and sell them.
I was gonna say, make them
Some
available
sort
for sale, or
Yeah, so a large amount, have people bid on them, something to raise
That's-
money for the next project.
that's the key, the bidding.
Yeah. And the Historical Society bought the yarn, so I'm just doing the work and everything else comes back into them.
Nice,
Fun
very
stuff.
good. Okay, this is our monthly update with Lee. We will see where we're at next month. Now, you coming down in between any to do stuff? You have to do something because
Been once in a while.
you've done something because you had. It's a lot more work than where it was from last
This
month.
is where the last one was.
Stayed after the last time. We all
Oh, I
left.
did stay a while.
Oh, okay.
And we went and got
No, I mean, there's a far difference here because I have it on video. From the very moment I was here, the day still had a ways to go.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, okay, well, great.
So now the hope is I can draw a bunch more of this in before this starts coming back towards me.
Okay.
So we got one.
One broke.
strand.
on the sign. That's all I can help with.
There we are.
Oh. So you
See,
spotted
now
that
you
good.
get fun.
Now you see a repair.
Yeah. So somewhere here is an extra strand. And I see the end of it.
Wow.
There we are. So we untangle that and grab our fancy tool. This one right here. So we pass that in, pull that through.
Okay. Basically a needle threader, except bigger.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Then I need to bring it back through this heddle.
Okay. So you spotted the very one that
Yep.
come off of. Do they break often?
Not often, but they do break.
It's enough that
Yep.
due diligence is in order.
Yeah. And then you got to figure out how you want to reconnect them.
A basic square knot, or you got something
Basic
else?
square knot is what I'm going to do. If you trust it, you can actually take it and spin the two pieces together.
Oh, that's,
So if
yeah.
you do that, then it holds really, really well.
Square knots have always done pretty well.
Yeah. But the square knot has to pull through
Oh,
pedals without.
is
getting
it small enough though? It looked like it.
Just. Yep.
Okay. Because it looked like it could handle a pretty decent sized thread going through there.
Yep.
I know you're like, I should be able to do something real good here. Bam, no, broke.
That's how it works. But this is what you've been seeing over the last couple of weeks is why
Or
fabric
months, yeah.
used to be so expensive. You know, and you would reuse every piece of fabric.
Well, yeah, and then, you know, of course they had to dye all their fabric. They had to do all the different stuff. And
And then there's an interesting side story to history, which is that we don't have a lot of historical clothing available to look at. And the reason is that you go back 100 years, and when new fashions came up, all of your fashions, your women's dresses, were all about gathered material that was then stitched in place. So you didn't cut the shapes of the fabric like we do now. So when it came time to look at the latest fashion magazines from France, You would then take your outfits and you would undo the stitches and you'd have a big flat piece of fabric again and start over.
Okay.
Because you would never.
Reusing,
Yeah,
obviously.
and anytime you put cuts on something, you make it harder to reuse. So,
Okay.
yeah, fun.
Nice. All kinds of history there.
One of them, you know what, there's a rule that I forgot about that.
And I just gotta get that pulled back through taut.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with this one? This one's really easy.
Spread those out again a little. Now,
Maybe this is called Touch Box.
you start cranking it into the back.
Okay.
Yes.
There's one little piece of white one up
And I
there.
had another problem.
Yes, or anything that adds up to it.
Was it a break or a?
Can't put down a 10.
Nope, it wasn't a break. It was a spot
Put down
where
numbers that add up to 10.
Yeah, I saw a piece of white that was.
it basically
Bunching
went
up a
off
little.
of the ends of the sticks.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's true, but you only have one of them. I don't see another
Bring
box.
some of
So
those
you're
in.
right.
That'll help
You only
guide
have
it
one
a
of
little.
And you had to pre-string every one of those.
Yep.
Two different. Oh, yeah. I see, you're right. I didn't say that at the beginning. Shame.
Oh, and this thing lets you know it's bunching up back there because it's just coming forward.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Well,
One piece there. All right.
You're close, so here, got it.
that
And then
was
there's a little
a
ratchet right here that holds the tension on it.
what you're doing there, and then you
Yeah.
can see underneath. That is a small amount for the amount of separation
Yep.
at a time.
You got
Now come out and straighten it all out again.
And you keep going.
And how long have you been doing this for a while now? Yeah, I cannot remember.
We started before May. Because
No, I meant you personally doing.
Oh, personally.
Yeah, yeah.
I have been goofing around with this at reenactments for 15 years. Maybe a little
Okay.
more.
All right. Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Started off knitting and decided I wanted the expensive fiber, so I spun it myself. And
Okay.
one thing led to another. Gateway drug
That's how it
application
is,
drug.
ain't it? Yeah.
Add anything up to 11, 'cause 9 plus 2 is
But if your drug of choice is fiber, you're probably doing okay.
Yeah.
Can you add these? Yeah.
I get it. Okay. There. So each time, the audience is learning more and more about warping the loom
Yeah.
and what's happening with it.
Someday it will
And the end goal, if you notice, when it's done, will be tablecloths or runners that will most likely be up for bid. If you like this type of thing, I'd highly advise get in on that action. Check in with the Historical Society.
Little points. So you want to try it again? See if you can do it and have little points. Ready? There we go.
Wait, do you want to switch right now?
I know, because this big one is fun.
Oh, okay, there. You could see where it was kind of done, then you pulled enough and
Yeah.
it all come back in order.
Exactly.
Seriously?
Boy, just that little bit of rolling up, about one, it really
Well, that's.
has you
Now-
having to go to town on it.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay.
So this is good to watch it from this point because it was all pretty straight when I first come here like that.
Yeah.
You hadn't really rolled up. You know, it was like ready for your next roll almost.
Yeah.
But caught a little repair work, so I appreciate it.
I played Farkle to the point where I got good at it and no one wanted to play with me, and then now I have to, well, yeah, that was a very short lived year. He even found, he found a version, when going to Wikipedia, there's variations that you can do, and one uses a 20-sided die to do stuff with, and one
Okay.
uses like both sides of
And
each,
then
one's like
I
your
start by pulling that back.
And then you'll get probably at least that much, maybe a little more before it starts coming back on you.
Hopefully a little more.
Then you can see he unlocks the tension.
And then these sticks, if you imagine
I think you can still do it.
winding things up on a shaft, if it starts building up too high in one spot, they start rolling off.
Yeah.
And so instead of having the same length threads coming all the way through, you've got some that went around a smaller diameter and some around a bigger, and that messes up the tension at the end.
Perfect.
So these are called lease sticks.
Oh, that's what. So you've been adding. You will add
Yep.
them as you go, and have added some already.
Yep, lots.
What are those called again?
Lease sticks, Lease.
Okay.
Wait, well, 6 plus 9. There's 6 plus 9.
Yep, and
Okay, and all that work for.
a couple more feet,
Yeah.
and
All right.
now I actually have to go and saw some more lease sticks to the right length. So.
And there's the sticks. All right. Well, thanks again for this month's update.
Everybody plays
Fun.
and then they get it off and then they
Be sure to check them out. You have a couple more months. We have September and October.